In the outskirts of Abuja, nestled beneath the towering shadow of Zuma rock, lies a secret that few humans have ever discovered, a hidden kingdom of dwarfs known as Adundu. This ancient realm has existed for centuries, shielded by powerful enchantments and protected by the spirits of the land. Its inhabitants, the Nkubi dwarfs, are no more than 3 feet tall, but they possess wisdom, craftsmanship, and magic beyond anything found in the human world. It was during the harmattan season, when the air turns dry and the red dust coats everything like an ancient memory, that 10-year-old Zara Musa began hearing whispers in the wind near her family's farmhouse in Bwari, a district on the edge of Abuja. Her grandmother, Mama Rakia, had always warned her not to wander near Zuma rock at dusk. "That place is not just rock," she'd say, eyes narrowed. "It listens. It remembers." Zara didn't believe in old wives' tales, until the night she saw the tiny footprints. She'd gone to fetch water from the stream, just past the cassava field. That's when she noticed the footprints, small, perfectly shaped, and oddly luminous in the twilight. She followed them, not knowing she was stepping into an ancient path walked by few humans before. As Zara ventured deeper into the forested base of Zuma rock, the air began to hum. The trees shimmered. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept past her, lifting the red dust to form a circular arch. In the center stood an ancient stone, half buried, inscribed with symbols glowing in pale blue light. Then it opened, right in front of her. A doorway in the rock revealed a descending tunnel of shimmering roots, glowing mushrooms, and walls pulsing with warm light. Zara, brave beyond her years, stepped inside. The tunnel led to a vast underground world, lush gardens lit by bioluminescent flowers, crystal-clear lakes, and magnificent domes of stone and gold. Dwarfs bustled about, forging weapons, crafting jewels, reading scrolls, and tending to singing plants. A dwarf no taller than her waist approached. His beard was braided with gold threads, and his eyes sparkled like quartz. "You are the seer's vision," he said. "We have waited long for your coming." Zara was welcomed by Chief Otena, the leader of Adundu, and his council of elders. They explained that the Nkubi dwarfs had lived beneath Abuja since before the city existed. They were the original guardians of the land, working with nature spirits to maintain harmony. But something was wrong. Chief Otena explained that the magic of the land was weakening. Humans were digging too deep, building too fast, forgetting the old ways. A black iron curse had begun to spread, cracking ancient stones, sickening the soil, and even making the dwarfs ill. Zara's arrival was foretold in the Scroll of Rivers, a prophecy claiming that a child born during the triple eclipse, with the ability to hear the whispers of the earth, would reunite the world of spirits and humans. Zara, though frightened, agreed to help. To reverse the curse, Zara and a group of Nkubi warriors, including Na-Ofo, a warrior dwarf with obsidian armor, and Aravu, a clever dwarf inventor, set out to retrieve the lost heartstone of Njamans, a crystal hidden at the peak of Aso Rock, guarded by a forgotten spirit. They journeyed through secret underground tunnels that ran beneath the Abuja metropolis, beneath markets, embassies, and government buildings, avoiding construction machines and magical traps. As they reached the sacred peak, they encountered the Ajaguna, a fierce spirit born of human anger and greed. Zara faced the spirit not with violence, but with song, an old lullaby her grandmother used to sing, one that carried the memory of the land before cities. The Ajaguna wept, turned to mist, and revealed the heartstone. Back in Adundu, Zara placed the heartstone into the well of roots at the center of the dwarven city. The moment it touched the water, light burst from the well, racing through the kingdom, healing the land, purifying the air. The dwarfs rejoiced. Chief Otena knelt before Zara. "You have restored balance, child of the old and new." Zara was given a charm, a tiny crystal pendant that would allow her to return to Adundu when the land needed her again. Zara returned home before dawn. To her family, it was as if she'd never left. But she knew better. Every now and then, she'd glance at Zuma rock and see the faint shimmer of the stone gate. At night, she'd hear the wind whisper in the Nkubi tongue. And every Harmattan season, she'd return, sometimes with food, sometimes with stories, always with respect. For she was now the watcher of the rock, guardian of both worlds, and the bridge between dwarfs and humans. Many years later, Abuja continued to grow. Skyscrapers reached the clouds, roads spread across hills and valleys. But deep below, the Nkubi dwarfs still thrived, quiet, unseen, but ever watchful. And if you stand near Zuma Rock at dusk, and the wind feels like it's singing, listen closely. The dwarfs are still there. 5 years had passed since Zara Musa last saw the dwarfs of Adundu. Now 15, Zara had grown into a quiet, observant girl, known for her strange ability to find lost animals, predict the weather, and calm even the wildest storms of emotion in people. Most just thought she was unusually wise. Only her grandmother, Mama Rakia, knew the truth of what lay beneath Zuma Rock. But that year the dry season came early, and with it, something else. The skies over Abuja turned a strange reddish gray. Crops began to wither. The Jabi River ran unusually low. At night, people reported seeing dark figures dancing on rooftops, whispering to the wind in crackling voices. The ash spirits had returned. Zara was woken one night by frantic knocking. A group of farmers from Bwari had come running. They had seen fire fall from the sky. A nearby village, Dutson Kara, had burned to the ground, but no one could find the source. The trees didn't catch fire like normal. Instead, they turned to ash instantly, unnatural, cold ash that floated upward instead of falling. The old storytellers called it Euphenia Thi, the fire that steals breath. Zara knew this was no ordinary fire. And then she saw it. Small, glowing footprints. But they weren't like the ones from the Nkubi dwarfs. These were twisted, scorched, and reeked of sulfur. Someone, or something, was using dwarf magic for evil. That night, she wore her crystal pendant and approached Zuma Rock once more. The gate opened before she even touched it. Inside, Adundu was no longer glowing with peace. It was dimmer, quieter. The once lush gardens were graying. Chief Otena looked older, as if weighed down by invisible chains. The ash spirits, he explained, were the banished ones, a faction of Nkubi dwarfs who had long ago abandoned the sacred balance. They believed in dominance over nature, not harmony. Centuries ago, they were exiled and sealed under the Lake of Karoo, a place few humans even remembered existed. But something had awakened them. Otena's voice trembled. They have found a human, a conduit, someone who is helping them break the seals. Zara's heart dropped. She remembered a boy from her school, Ikena Okoye, a quiet, brooding classmate whose father worked for a mining company known for drilling too close to sacred land. He'd gone missing weeks ago. Aravu, now the chief inventor of Adundu, had developed a new map made from spider silk and sound waves, revealing hidden rifts in Abuja's spiritual crust. The readings pointed to a new source of ash magic deep beneath Wuya, a developing district. Zara and her dwarf companions descended through an abandoned borehole disguised as a construction shaft. Beneath Wuya, they found a ruined Nkubi temple, walls scorched, statues melted. In the center stood Ikena. But he wasn't himself. His eyes were completely black, rimmed with burning red. He spoke in two voices, one his own, the other like cracking firewood. "I am the Ash Prophet now," he said. "The balance was never fair. You dwarfs hoarded the earth's power. Now it's humanity's turn." He struck the ground with a staff made of blackened bone, summoning twisted ash creatures from the walls, shadow dwarfs with burning eyes. Zara barely escaped with her life. Back in Adundu, a meeting of the ancient dwarven clans was called, the first in 100 years. Delegates from the granite clans, the root forgers, and even the mysterious redstone seers of Ajakuta came. They all agreed. If the Ash Prophet succeeded in opening the final seal beneath Lake Karoo, it would mean the end of Adundu and the surface world too. The ash would smother not just crops, but dreams, memory, and spirit. But the dwarfs could not act directly. The ancient pact forbade it. Only a bridgewalker, a human tied to both worlds, could enter the lake's heart. Zara was the last bridgewalker. She had to go alone. Zara traveled to the old lake, now a dried-out basin hidden in plain sight near the borders of Nasarawa, surrounded by dusty market stalls and forgotten shrines. Locals said it was cursed, avoided it, never built near it. At its center, an ancient Nkubi seal glowed faintly beneath the cracked mud. With her pendant, she unlocked it, and descended into darkness. She found herself in a massive cavern where ash fell like snow. Twisted roots hung from the ceiling. And in the distance, Ikena stood at the edge of a massive chasm, preparing to break the final seal. They fought, not with fists but with will, with memory. Zara reached into Ikena's mind, showing him visions of the world they were both part of. The rivers, the farms, the laughter of children at the mosque after prayers, the smell of roasted corn during the rainy season. Ikena, this land doesn't belong to magic or machines. It belongs to all of us, and we have to share it. For a moment, he faltered. But the ash spirits screamed in fury and tried to consume them both. In desperation, Zara threw her pendant into the chasm, unleashing a pulse of true Nkubi light, ancient, pure. The spirits shrieked and vanished. The seal reformed, now glowing with a new symbol. A human hand and a dwarf hand joined. Ikena collapsed, free. Back in Udundu, Chief Otena declared a new age. For the first time in their history, the dwarfs would open a bridge school, a place where gifted human children could learn the ways of the earth, and where dwarf apprentices could study human innovation. Zara was named Guardian of the Balance, the youngest ever. Ikena, now redeemed, stayed behind to study with Aravu and make peace with what he'd done. And above, Abuja slowly healed. The skies cleared. The crops returned. And deep beneath the streets, the dwarfs of Udundu began to build not just for themselves, but for a future shared by both worlds.